Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Storytime. Thank you so much for joining me on Storytime today. Glad that we're here together. Yes, another beautiful story, another heartwarming story coming your way. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope that you're comfortable where you are. I hope that you're warm. I hope that it's the best place that you can be right now for Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in, and I'm glad you're here. Please let us know where you're joining in from, as always, so we know where you are and so we can say hi to you. And why not let us know how it is where you are? Is it warm? Is it hot? Is it cold? How is it? Thank you so much. Are the leaves on the trees changing? How does it look like? Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Thank you indeed for being here. It has been getting cooler and cooler out here in Oakland and in the Bay in general, and definitely layers as we go out for sure. I know it's not as cold as it is elsewhere, but it is cold by Bay standards. And so, yeah, definitely been layering up as we go out. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Thank you. And I was just looking at this picture too, in fact, just thinking how my hair was so much longer. I was taking such good care of it, and then didn't go to the stylist for a minute, and I had to cut off a bit of it. So I was just looking at that and thinking like, oh, that was not too long ago. Hopefully I can get it back to that level soon. Well, this week, as you know, we've been reading amazing books. We've had so far, how does our food grow? Beautiful book that indeed prompted us to many questions. And then also we said, nothing ever happens on a gray day. We had our guest here, Grant Snyder, with us on Monday, talking about his brand new book and also other work that he's been up to, and also just his writing process, right? His creative process. So if you missed it, please go back to the archives for the Monday reading and Monday's guest here, who is Grant Snyder. And then, of course, we talked about Evelyn Del Rey moving away, and we see how that friendship can last, right? Long-lasting friendship there. Evelyn Del Rey is moving away. And today we come back with another one. Can I Sit with You? Oh, yes, a sweet book just waiting for you. And then tomorrow we'll be rounding up the week with Great White Shark. Come on out and let's read together. And if you have any other information that you'd like to share about Great White Sharks, please bring them along and share with us. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime today. Absolutely appreciate you. And always a pleasure to be here. Always indeed. Yesterday I visited friend. I visited my former school actually at Emerson Elementary in Oakland, and got to see so many people that I love and appreciate. And Miss Matthews, big shout out to you. And she was ending the day. She just ended the day with a blessing, which was so powerful for me and just so beautiful. And to see somebody who has been at one site for 50 years, as of this December, it'll be 50 years. And then I think it's 60 plus years in education overall. It's just amazing. And so yeah, I just wanted to celebrate that, but being there and still seeing somebody still there in service of the kids and making sure everybody is okay. And yeah, special person doing amazing things. Miss Matthews out at Oakland, at Emerson Elementary in Oakland. Well, big up to you, and thank you for the inspiration for sure. Thank you so much for joining in, everybody. Glad we're here together. Can I sit with you? Please, can I sit with you today? Written and illustrated by Sarah Jacoby, and we are reading this one with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. So get ready, get comfortable, get cozy. Our story will be coming right up very, very shortly. Good morning to you. How are you doing today? Thank you for being here, Miles and Owen. Miles, I hope you're feeling a bit better. I hope you're feeling better. But I see that you're here with us too, so telling me you're not still 100%, but glad that you're here with us today. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Owen, good to see you as always. Thank you for being here with us. Christine, thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime out there in Massachusetts. Thank you for being here on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Good morning to you, Kathy. Thank you for joining in. And say Luna loves your stories. Well, Luna, thank you so much. So good to hear. That's why we do this, right? So we can enjoy stories together and we can read together. And also, don't forget to send me your recommendations. If you have any favorites that you'd like to see here on Storytime, I will do my very best to get permissions so we can read them here to you on Storytime. But just send the names, send the titles my way, and I will try my very best to bring them to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Absolutely love it. Thank you, Kathy and Luna. Good morning to you out there in Ohio. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Good morning to you. How are you doing today? Megan and Ari, thank you for joining in here on Storytime today. And you say it is warm and cloudy out there in Kentucky. Well, thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. You're certainly bringing the warmth to Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you and hope that you have had a lovely start to your day and hope the rest of your day is even better. Yes, may it just get better and better as the day goes on. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Ari and Megan out there in Kentucky, thank you indeed for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And yes, we talk about morning ingredients, right? Yes, you are part of those morning ingredients that make Storytime special and just make our community special. Thank you indeed, Ari. Thank you for giving us that phrase. I love it. Morning ingredients here at Storytime. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Good morning to you, Tanisha. Thank you so much for joining in. Oh my goodness, giving you a very special hug, Tanisha. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime here. And yeah, miss you. I hope we get to see each other soon. And Tanisha, I was at Emerson yesterday. Got to see Miss Sandra. Got to see Cassandra Walsh. Got to see so many people. Jimmy was there too, visiting from middle school. Jamira was there as well. Yeah, lots and lots of names and kids that we love and people that we love that you definitely know. So yeah, it was good to be back at Emerson for a little bit. And yeah, thank you for joining us here on Storytime. I hope you're okay. Thank you indeed for being here with us today. Appreciate you, Tanisha. Thank you for joining in Storytime. And you say, I hope you had a wonderful day. It has been, well, this one is just starting. It's great. Yesterday was wonderful. It was great. This one starting off remarkably. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Oh, thank you. Yes, we should have a little get together. Absolutely. Just say when and where, and I will be there. And thank you so much for joining in, Tanisha. Absolutely appreciate you, and my love to the family as well, to all your kids and everybody else there too. Your sweetheart, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Good morning to you. How are you doing today, Pamela, Courtney? Thank you for joining in. Chad, Auntie Ann, thank you for being here with us on Storytime. And you say good morning to everyone waving from Natchitoches, Louisiana. Thank you so much for joining in here on Storytime. Thank you indeed for being here. Yes, morning ingredients all here, all in the mix, and this is a beautiful place. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Now, Can I please sit with you? Coming right up after this short break, written and illustrated by Sarah Jacoby. And we are reading this one with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Get comfortable, get cozy, and we will be right back. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Storytime.
Hi, I'm Jen D. Oliveira, the author-illustrator of Reggie Kid Penguin, and you're watching Storytime with Mr. LaMotta.
Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, welcome back. And Jen De Oliveira did give us Reggie Kid Penguin. And if you missed it, please go back to the archives and catch the excerpt that we were able to read here on Storytime. And of course, find it at your local library. Find it where you find books. And of course, follow Jen De Oliveira on the socials so you know everything that's coming up. There's a brand new Reggie that will be coming out very, very shortly. So get ready for that. Here we go. Today's story, Sarah Jacoby writes this one and illustrates it as well. And we are reading this code, Can I Sit With You? With permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Yes, indeed. Love, 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 love to each and every one of you. Are you ready? All right, here we go. Grab everything that you need. How about those beautiful sticks for end papers? Oh, and this one has Andy's too. How can I forget? How can I forget? How can I forget? Let me just put the cover there. Sorry for the extra noise, but there you go. Look at that. And there we go. Yeah. Can I sit with you? With a face like that, how can you not? Written and illustrated by Sarah Jacoby, read with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. Can I sit with you? Oh, yes, scoot on over. Come on and sit next to me. Oh, yeah. One of the sweetest books, I must say, this one. I love it so much. You know, I was looking at this picture. Well, I've looked at this book many times, as you know, but looking at it this morning while sitting here waiting to start, I was looking at these row houses, and it reminded me of Baltimore. If you've ever visited Baltimore, or just that whole kind of DC area, or DMV as they call it, right? DC, Maryland, and Virginia, you kind of find these kind of row houses, and I'm sure there are some in other parts of the country too, but that's the one that I'm familiar with. And yeah, I was just thinking about that, and yeah, missing my time in Baltimore. I loved it. So yeah, this kind of took me back today. But what does this neighborhood remind you of? Is there a place that it reminds you of? Pardon me, may I ask you a question? Oh. Pardon me, may I ask you a question? Ruff, ruff, ruff. May I ask you a question? If you're brimming like a ringing bell, if you're lonely like an empty plate, if you're brimming like a ringing bell, if you're lonely like an empty plate, if you're dusty-eyed, if you're bright, if you're brimming like a ringing bell, if you're lonely like an empty plate, if you're dusty-eyed, if you're bright, can I sit with you? Yeah. Oh, through those different moods and emotions, can I sit with you? Yeah. If you take a long car ride, or find a different chair, if the day is strange and new, if you take a long car ride, or find a different chair, if the day is strange and new, well, I will be familiar, loyal, and true. Ah, yeah. If you take a long car ride, if you find a new chair, if the day is strange and new, I will be familiar, loyal, and true. Ah, yeah. I hope everybody finds such in their community, such people, such community, right? That is familiar and loyal and true to you. When you want a wide green field, when you want the orange light. Yeah. When you want a wide green field, when you want the orange light. When you need a deep blue dark, can I sit with you? Yeah. When you want a wide green field, when you want the orange light, when you need a deep blue dark, can I sit with you? Of course. Back and forth, to and fro, we weave the space between. Bit by bit, throw by throw, we start to feel at ease. Yes, back and forth, to and fro, we weave the space between. Bit by bit, throw by throw, we start to feel at ease. Yeah. One of my favorite spreads. Bit by bit, throw by throw, we start to feel at ease. So, if you hear another call or disappear from view, I'll understand the stray in you. It is in my nature too. Yeah. So, if you hear another call or disappear from view, I'll understand the stray in you. I'll understand the stray in you. It is in my nature too. I'll understand the stray in you. It is in my nature too. And even if you wonder, rumble and roam, yeah, if you hear a different call, I'll understand the stray in you. It is in my nature too. And even if you wonder, rumble and roam, I know looking high and low can show you what you left at home. Oh, yeah. If you hear another call, a different call, I'll understand the stray in you. And if you wonder, rumble and roam, I know looking high and low can show you what you left at home. I've wandered many ways and I've seen so much new. I've felt many colors, still I recall our blue. Now I hear this echo I'm singing back to you, a long awaited answer. I've wandered many ways, and I've seen so much new. I've left many colors. Still, I recall our blue. I felt many colors. Still, I recall our blue. Now I hear this echo. I'm singing back to you. A long awaited answer. Oh, Siri, always trying to respond. A long awaited answer. Oh, what's that long awaited answer? Yes, the memories, the joy of those memories. And the long awaited answer, I will sit with you. Yeah, and that is the end of our story. Thank you so much for joining in, friends. I hope that you enjoyed that one. It is a beautiful one indeed. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. I'll catch you on the other side of this very short break.
I'm Meenal Patel, and I am an artist, designer, and the author and illustrator of Priya Dreams of Marigolds and Masala, and you are watching Storytime with Mr. Lamada.
Welcome back indeed. Thank you so much for joining in. Meenal Patel, out now in Minnesota. Thank you so much for wonderful books that you've created, and of course, the wonderful community that you continue to share. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. I hope you enjoyed that one. Many, many great lessons in here for sure. And I always think about this too with kids. I hope that you have a life where you can explore and wonder and rumble and roam. But also, I hope that there's been that love that has been built at home that will always draw you back, right? And I'm sure for the parents out there too, that is the hope. For all the caregivers out there, that is the hope, that we give our little ones all the love, or equip them so they can go out there and handle the world, but also stay true to home, stay loyal, stay, just stay connected to that home. So thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I absolutely love it. Yeah, and it says, I know looking high and low can show you what you left at home. And that is the hope. That is the hope indeed. And I know, like personally, I've strayed so far from home, but yeah, my heart still longs for that place, and I still stay connected, even as I ground my roots elsewhere. It is the love that I felt there, I think, that keeps me connected. And I hope that for everybody, really, to stay connected to those roots and just feel the love. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Thank you so much for joining in. Oscar Malagulanga, thank you so much for joining us out here on Storytime today. Thank you indeed. Well, I will be getting on that call. I'll try and call you today for sure. Thank you so much for joining us here on Story. In fact, I did try, but I might not have gone through, but I'll try again. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Thinking about it, like, wait a minute, I did try to call. To everybody that was joining in Storytime, thank you so much for joining in. And it reminds me too, this book always reminds me of the Mark Barnett, What is Love? But also one saying I heard one time on the radio, and this is way back, I think I was still in high school, on the radio, and Oscar, who's here today, will probably remember that DJ. His name was DJ Cassius the Flow Mbewe, way back. And he happened to have gone to my high school as well, actually. Livala High School, big up out in Lusaka, Zambia. But he did mention one thing, and I've not been able to find it online. So I don't know where he got it from that time, or, but it said something like, you may go around the world in search of happiness and joy or something like that, but you'll be led right back to your doorstep, for the world is round. And it has stuck with me, really. And I feel like this is kind of like what this book is. Like this little person goes and wanders the world and discovers all these things, feels all kinds of things, but there's that bit that still draws her back home. And yes, indeed, in the end, she still wants to sit with the people that matter, the things that matter, and the place that matters the most. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. However you interpret that book today, I hope that it has meaning for you. I hope that it brought you warmth, it brought your heart warmth like it did for me. It is always good to be here with you all on Storytime. Thank you so much indeed. One more time, thank you to everybody that was joining in. And please remember too, if you're here, drop us a message so we can say hi to you wherever you're joining in from. We appreciate you, however you got here. Maybe that is a question for tomorrow too, or if today, if you have time, how did you end up on Storytime? How did you find your way to Storytime? Thank you so much for joining in. Miles and Owen, one more time, and of course sending you extra hugs. Owen, wishing you well. Miles, hoping that you are recovered and fully getting stronger and stronger by the day. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Kathy and Luna, thank you for joining us out in Ohio. Beautiful story again today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you continue to enjoy many more stories here on Storytime. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Ari and Megan, yes, part of the morning ingredients. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime out there in Kentucky. Thank you indeed for joining in, where today it is cloudy and warm. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. I think I might have missed this message earlier. Miles is growing his hair out too. Yes, all right. I cannot wait to see the progress. Please be sure to take before and after pictures, right? Oh, progress pictures. I'm excited to see that. Thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Tanisha, Champion Benjamin, thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and let's make it happen. Let's get together soon. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Yes, and I hope that you have a wonderful day today. Thank you indeed for joining us here on Storytime out in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Chad, Auntie Ann, and of course Auntie Pam, thank you so much for joining us here on Storytime. I hope you enjoyed the treat that was from Sarah Jacoby today. Can I sit with you? Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Read with permission of Chronicle Books, of course. Thank you indeed for joining us here on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And yes, Pamela Connie say, I always love your perspective on stories at the end of the readings. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And you know, Pamela Courtney, your perspective, I know, just your insight on things is always, always so appreciated here on Storytime, and just in my life in general, for sure. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. To everybody that was here, love, 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 and nothing more than that. Love, nothing short of that. Let's say it like that. Nothing short of that. Love, love, love to each and every one of you. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Well, from the warm-hearted book that this one is today, tomorrow we go into the depths of the ocean as we follow along one of the most misunderstood creatures, but also very fascinating creatures. The great white shark comes to Storytime tomorrow, and this one is written by Claire Saxby and illustrations by Cindy Lane, and we will be reading it with permission of the publishers Candlewick Press. So get your diving gear ready, get everything that you need, get your go-go's, everything else. We're going deep sea tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. Oscar Mwanagulanga out in Katete, Zambia. Much love to you, my brother. Talk to you soon. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We'll see you again tomorrow when we're back with more Storytime. Thank you so much for being here. Much love. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing. Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing.